So a couple of weeks ago, a PC shop in Malaysia made a post promoting a pair of Fnatic React headphones. Now, normally you would think of this as just normal advertising, business as usual. However, in the post itself, there was a claim about gaming headphones providing sound quality that is more richer, deeper, and crystal clear compared to regular headphones. Now, this caused quite a bit of an uproar within the audiophile community in Malaysia, and you can sort of imagine what the comments section of the post looked like. However, to the average consumer, they wouldn't even understand what the outrage was about at all. I mean, aren't gaming headphones in general better for games? Wouldn't the manufacturers actually make it more suitable for use in games? I mean, in general, they're pricier as well, so they must be better than regular headphones, no? Not necessarily. To understand what this whole issue is about, we need to first establish what exactly is a regular headphone. Now, if by regular headphones you mean headphones that can be found in your local handphone store like Ninjas, then yes, entry-level gaming headphones that cost around 250 ringgit, like the Fnatic React or the Logitech G431, which costs around 250 ringgit, will easily beat those dodgy Chinese headphones in sound quality. But if we are just referring to headphones in general that do not have the whole hardcore gamer branding aesthetic all over them, spaceship designs, some AK-47 logos and whatnot, then I would have to argue that most gaming headphones, with very few exceptions, are a terrible value for what you pay for. For less than the price of either one of these headphones, you can get much better regular headphones. So, what exactly can you get for less than 200 ringgit, you might ask? For starters, you can get a pair of these. So this is the Samson SR850. It is a semi-open back headphone that is being sold in Malaysia for the retail price of 180 ringgit in places like Live Music, Music Bliss, and wait, does Reddit sell these? I'm not sure, but yeah, the retail price is around 180 ringgit. If you are planning to buy from a Chinese seller on Lazada or Shopee, however, you can actually find these for way cheaper, all the way down to 80 ringgit, but that would be an unfair review at this point. So we'll be reviewing this based on the retail price of 180 ringgit. So what exactly are you getting for 180 ringgit? Well, straight out of the box, you get no extras. You don't get a headphone case or carrying pouch. What you get is the headphones themselves, a 2.5 meter fixed cable, and you also get a 1/4-inch jack that is pre-installed straight out of the box. You can actually just remove this and it turns into a regular 3.5 millimeter cable, which you can just plug it into your 3.5 millimeter jack on your PC or your handphone, I suppose. Pads are made out of synthetic leather. Headphone in general is there's a lot of plastics around here, metal wires on top. Padding on these is okay, I suppose, although there's absolutely no padding on top of here too, but that doesn't really matter because these are quite light, and they're very comfortable, although the pads can get a bit warm after 1 or 2 hours of simultaneous use if you don't take these off your head periodically. Inside you get a pair of 50mm neodymium dynamic drivers. No fancy beryllium coating here. Alright, this is 180 ringgit. I would say in general, these are pretty comfortable as well. They have a self-adjusting mechanism where, let me just take these off first. You put these on. The way these works is that you put these on and the headphones will adjust the length of the extensions or the side extensions over here by themselves based on your head's height. These clamp a bit tight, honestly speaking. depending on your head, I guess. You might find them a bit tight. If you're wearing glasses, they might cut in to your ears, I suppose. But yeah, it really depends on your head at this point. So how do these sound actually? These actually sound very good for the price of 180 ringgit. In fact, I dare say that these headphones actually sound more like a 300 ringgit headphone, maybe a 400 ringgit headphone. No, definitely not 400 ringgit headphone, but it sounds more like a pair of 300 ringgit headphones. It's not going to be as resolving as an Audio Technica ATH M40X or the open-back AD500X, but for the most part, you will not be left wanting, especially if this is your first pair of decent headphones. This SR850 has a very, very open, clear, bright sound signature where the mids are emphasized, as in the mids and mid frequencies. This allows it to bring out a very, very, very realistic and natural sound signature. Pianos, violins, instruments in general, and they will sound very natural with these. Although one thing to note is that higher pitched vocals, especially high pitched female vocals, they will sound a bit thin on these SR850s. On the lower end, lower end of the frequency response range, footsteps and gunfire in general in games, they sound very detailed. You will definitely be able to feel the impact of each shot, each footstep. That's not to say that these are bass heavy. These are far from it. The bass is there. You can feel it. It's adequate enough. It's good enough, and it's very detailed. It's tightly controlled for sure, and you will not be left wanting. In fact, I would say that you can actually listen to EDM with these. You can listen to hardstyle. You can listen to trance, and these will sound great. One thing to note with the SR850s though is that the higher end treble notes can sound quite harsh, and this can be a bit fatiguing over time. If you've played Rainbow Six Siege, if you played Rainbow Six Siege, when you're fortifying walls, soft walls, you can really, really hear the metal screeching, the sound of metal screeching digging into your ear. It can be a bit painful listening to that sound on these things. Best thing about the SR850 is that these are semi-open back headphones, which naturally results in a very, very open sound stage compared to most closed back headphones like the CD900ST here I'm using, where you have a plastic encasing which keeps the sound in here inside the headphone itself, so that it only comes out here and doesn't leak up from the back. So naturally this result straight out of the box, alright, these will do surround sound. You can hear footsteps very clearly where the footsteps are without any issues at all. You will be able to pinpoint the exact location. There's no need for 7.1 surround sound, although that will definitely improve things if you have Atmos or DTS for Windows, I suppose. But one thing to note with the Samson SR850s and generally semi-open back headphones and open back headphones in general is that these will leak sound, and there's very little passive noise isolation because of the open back design. Basically, sounds can actually get through this vent over here, so you will definitely be able to hear your surroundings. You definitely don't want to take these onto the train, onto the MRT or LRT, especially when you're taking the underground LRT in Kuala Lumpur, where you have to go through KLCC. Yeah, that's not nice, trust me on that. Um, Overall, I would say the Samson SR850 is a very good natural sounding headphone that punches way above its price range and definitely proves that you don't have to pay too much to get decent audio. You might find yourself turning up the volume on these a bit higher than your conventional closed back headphones, but for the most part this shouldn't be an issue since these are pretty easy to drive at 32 ohms. But it definitely proves that you don't have to pay too much to get decent audio. A good alternative to these would be the Super Lux HD681, which is about 80 ringgit cheaper in most retailers. But the Super Lux have considerably worse build quality. The pads actually feel cheap on the Super Luxes, and the wire up here, you can, if you put enough force, you can actually bend them. Like, yeah, the build quality is definitely not that sturdy on these Super Luxes. But if you are that budget constrained, I would say at 100 ringgit, the Super Luxes are very hard to beat. It's a very good alternative to these Samsons. But if you prefer a closed back design with passive noise isolation, I guess there's also the SR950, which Samsung makes. But these cost about 210 ringgit, more than these for sure. It does have the extra sub-bass extension, which naturally comes with a closed back design, but personally I find it a bit excessive to the point where it kind of muddies up the mix. It will actually become a bit muffled because the low end actually bleeds into the low mid range. But overall, it's a pretty good headphone. These are pretty good headphones. Then I would definitely recommend to anyone who wants to get a pair of good headphones in general. Doesn't matter if it's for gaming or listening to music. These will get the job done, and they get it done very, very well at this price range.